Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Journey to Become Wealthy. My name is Kelvin Reed, and it is Wednesday. So you all know, I know I've been missed out a couple days. I've been feeling slightly under the weather, but this week has been crazy, pressure to the downside, and tonight we're gonna take a look at it. But before I get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I post videos. So I could not go today without coming and speaking to y'all. I know I might sound bad, look bad, but it's okay, right? We're going to get through this. We're going to work it out together. So this week, the market has been on a slight downturn, and we have been seeing things coming back down. Really, we had a good green week last week behind the Feds making their speeches and things. And I think that may have been a fake out breakout, right? Because shortly afterwards, we have been coming down. We have given back everything that the market gave us on last week, right? So let's take a look at the market. You know, we got to take our short-term view and our long view, right? So the Dow up 0.0047%. So pretty much nothing at all. S&P, all of these are pretty much flat, right? We know anything less than or greater than 1% is flat, right? S&P 500 down 0.19%, NASDAQ down 0.51%, and the Russell down 0.31%, with the VIX actually up 2.30%. So that right there tells me a lot. Now I know the rest are flat, but the VIX being up tells me a lot, and it really points at us looking at some more downside pressure. Now that's just to look at today, right? Y'all know we got to hit the 5-day, the month, and the year. So on the past 5 days, down 2.68%. When you all know we just looked at this bad boy and we were up, right? And that was on last week, Friday. The month, we are actually up 1.32%. Year to date, we are still down 8.16%. And from those lows, we were up at the top, right? We were up 20.41% in the Dow. But now we're currently only up 16%, meaning we are actually down from that high. Let's see where we're down from that high. If I can catch the high, we are down, it says 2.32%, but I don't know if I got it at the right spot. 2.87% from the high so far. So hopefully we can manage this and things will be all right. But that's just the Dow, and we know the Dow has been outperforming pretty much all the other indexes so far. S&P 500, we see down 3.92%, took a larger beating than the Dow. On the month, up 2.76%, but on the year, down 17.98%. Let's see where it's at from those lows. On the high, it was up 14.06%. Currently up 9.98%. So what does that mean? We had a nice little drop. We had a nice drop of 3.58% from those highs so far, yet again, right? And the reason why I'm looking at these highs to this new low to lows, right? Because you already know there's already been a lot of speculation, a lot of talk of a recession 2023. Question is, are we looking at early 2023? Much like we saw this year, we know that pretty much this year the highs was January. We hit most of our highs in January, and from that point on, we have pretty much plummeted. So did we make a nice little bounce only for us to see some new lows in the year 2023? I don't know, but we're going to make sure we keep all of these notes in mind so that we can realize these things as they happen, right? The recession, the downward pressure, all those things. We want to keep that in mind so we can make money on it going forward. On the NASDAQ, 5-day, down 5.04%. The month, still up 3.22%, but for the year, down hot 30.79%. Now that sucks, 30.79%. So that's heavy in tech, right? On the highs, this bad boy was up 10.88%. From that point, it's only up 5.95% currently. But let's see how far down we've come from those highs, right? Let's see. Down 4.40% on the matter of a week, right? In a week. Well, really, we already know in a week, 5.04%. So really, we can see that for each one of them. S&P 500 in a week, down 3.92%. And the Dow down 2.62%. We hit our high about a week ago. So let's see. Again, Russell down 4.73%. So from that recent high, right, a month, actually still down. The Russell must be taking a major beating. And on the year, down 20.49%. Still not as bad as NASDAQ, but it is bad nonetheless. The main thing I want to point out to you all is, as of right now, right, checking out our SPY. We're looking at the 4-hour, and we can check out the day. This point right here, and let me change it red, because I know I forget to change my lines back colors because I keep them there, right, so I can have all my levels. But at this point, At this, let's see what this price mark is. I want to say that's about 391, 391.70. At about 391.70, if we come below that on the SPY, we could potentially see this bad boy coming all the way back down here, right, till at least, I want to say this is a strong low support right here at the 377 mark. So that's about $13 down. If it continues to crash down without any good news, we could see a major drop. Same thing on the QQQ, which is taking a bigger beating than the SPY, right? I predict the QQQ, if it comes down below this 277, we can see this bad boy come all the way down to this 272, if not lower. But these are some very low lows now. The QQQ did not make as drastic push up as the SPY did. So we got to be very aware of those things when we're going forward. So there's a lot of money to be made to the downside going forward in this market. One thing I want you all to check out, right, because we got a lot of news and a lot of nice little articles that we got to review, is the fear and greed. So we're gonna take a look at that because we know last week it was at a 59. I'm sorry. So we know that on last week we saw a 69, not a 59. That was the previous close of 59. So from last week at a 69, we are back down to a 58, headed back towards that neutral zone, which in turn will put us back in that fear zone. The only reason I think we're actually holding on for dear life currently is because people are still speculating. People don't know what to expect. They don't know what to believe is going to happen with this market, right? The fears of recession are all speculation. They're waiting on CPI data, which I do believe comes out Friday of this week, if not next week. So they're waiting on CPI data, and then we know we get our next interest rate hike in the month of January. So as of right now, people don't know. Is inflation settled? We keep seeing this strong employment numbers, right? So that means the Fed can continue to push numbers however they want to. They don't have to slow down as drastically as we want, but they can slow down quite a bit so that they don't go overboard. But will they? That's the main thing. Especially when we see numbers this month for the last month, really got a lot to think about, a lot of things to consider. So what we're going to plan to see is things slightly flat. Now, if you're like me, you're going to hear a lot of investors or a lot of people talking about a Santa rally going forward. Santa rally usually happens in the month of December. But as of right now, this year, I am not so sure if that is going to happen because, of course, what do we have all this FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt going on in the markets, right? And even myself, I keep telling you guys, I'm just looking at the charts, right? I'm doing my technical analysis and I've done quite a bit of fundamentals. And just based on the fundamental news, it's not looking good for us. Based on the technicals, it is not looking good for us. Now, we hit our some nice highs, which was potentially the peak, right? We know last time we hit all the way up here at about 407, and then we came back down, 409, I'm sorry. 409, and then before we came back down, this time we hit about that same number, right? Look at the past. We can zoom in over here, and then look at where we are now. About at the exact same point, right? 410 was the high that time, and 410 was the high both times, basically, right? So we hit 410 right before we saw a nice little plummet back to the downside. You all see how much further down we came before we started to see it go back up. So take you a screenshot. Be aware of these things because you could potentially predict, hey, at what levels is it going to bounce based on what we saw in the past. Use those red and green lines. Of course, you can mark up your charts and change the colors as you like. But these are the things that we know are coming, or that we're looking forward to, right? We can use the past to predict the future. I won't say predict the future, but pretty much make an educated guess, right? Make an educated guess about the future. So I put this in the 4 hour for you if you want to look at it again. Again, a little more detailed. 411 was that high, and 410 was this previous high. So it didn't even break the last high. It actually it made a nice high, but it didn't break the last one right before it started coming back down very drastically, right? And we know currently we're sitting at 393.16 from that 410, and that is over the matter of a few days, I want to say, right? So we saw our high on, what day was this? On the 1st of December. And now today is the 7th, and we're already back down here. So over the matter of about 5 days. So that's just something to be aware of because we could potentially continue to crash down on the 4 hour again. Get you a screenshot if you want to, right? I have it here for you. Another thing to be aware of, you see this death cross on the MACD. That when that gold line crosses the blue line back down to the downside, that is a sign of extreme selling pressure, a sign of extreme downward pressure on the stock, on the market, right? And these are futures, so that's what we're looking for. That's what we're expecting. The same happened on the QQQ. And of course, the spot is the SPX, so we see the exact same thing on each one of those. So it's just something to be aware of when you're looking at these charts, because it's going to be very important when you're doing your trading, right? You want to make sure you anticipate and make sure you know what you're expecting. I know it may look like this morning, things ran up green for a minute. Oh, we might go back bullish. And sure enough, market showed you otherwise, pushed you right back to the downside, and we ended up very flat on the day. So there's some things to be aware of, right? Because this market right now, I feel like it's going to take us on a roller coaster, but I do feel like it's going to be heavy to the downside, at least for the next few days to a week, right? So looking at the calendar, let's got to keep in mind we have Christmas break coming up. The market will be closed a few days for Christmas, and then you have New Year's after that. So the market could remain very flat around the holidays, if not more downward pressure with people selling due to fear of where the market is going after the holidays. So just got to be aware of that, right? Again, stay aware of the things that's going on around you. You got to stay aware of your surroundings, or else you'll be caught up. And I told you how I got caught up, right? I lost money. So this time, we all got to stay cognizant of what's going on, because we all want to make money together, and we want to avoid any losses if at all possible. So that's what I got for you guys. I want to thank you all for joining Journey Become Wealthy. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys later.